Welcome to Hassle-Free RE, the show where we share tips, tricks, and stories from the short-term rental industry and business alike. Hosted by Dave Menapace and Will Van Wickler. They'll help you navigate the exciting and ever-evolving world of short-term rentals. Whether you're a seasoned host or just starting out, they've got something just for you. In each episode, they'll bring you insider insights, expert advice, and real-life stories from hosts and industry professionals who have been through it all. They'll cover everything from maximizing your rental income and profits to creating unforgettable guest experiences and handling unexpected day-to-day challenges with ease. Are you ready to discover the secrets to running a successful short-term rental business without the hassle? Then let's get started. This is Hassle-Free RE.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Hassle-Free RE. I'm Dave Menapace, president of the 5-Star Co-host, and joined here by my man, Mr. Will Van Wickler, real estate agent, short-term rental, residential, commercial. How we doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. It's good to see you. How are you?
I am good. Why don't we jump right in? So today we're going to talk about scaling beyond 10 properties, some of the hidden costs that no one talks about, and maybe some of the mental load that no one talks about. There's probably this myth, right, of quote unquote easy scaling. I think, you do it once, you buy a short-term rental, you manage it, you love it. It's really tempting to go buy another one. So you do. And maybe that goes well also. And if you have the capital for it, you go for 3. Heck, maybe you start managing some properties, but there is like a hidden cost to this thing, right? And at the end of the day, it's interesting because I think everyone forgets that you're building a business. And so from operational complexities, Will, what do you see as some of the challenges, whether it's cleaners or maintenance or guest support? Like, what are some of the things that people should be looking out for?
Yeah, and this goes beyond even short-term rentals, right? Like long-term real estate, storage properties, if you want to talk in terms of doors or units, right? Like just outside of single-family homes, I know the biggest challenge I've had was the bookkeeping side and the organization and flow of money, right? Is keeping all these entities separate, everything from making sure the LLCs are filed on time, to the new LLC registrations, to the different bank accounts and different cards, and making sure everything's paid. So like the number one thing that I'd say to start the conversation is really building a bench of the team. And it starts on the financial side for me. We can talk about handymans and all that kind of stuff later. But for me, it was really getting a solid grasp on the financial side of the business.
Totally. I absolutely agree with that. I also think from an operational perspective, each market has its nuances. If we're going to talk about short-term rentals, there's a set of circumstances and nuances for beach markets within a certain market versus mountain markets. And then if you own properties in each of those different categories, once again, more variables, different guest needs, different guest expectations. So I think scaling up in a singular focused market is a little bit different than if you're scaling up in multiple markets at the same time. The benefit of scaling up in multiple markets is that you're properly diversified based on seasonality and just guest booking trends. What I've found, because at this point we're managing about 40 houses as well as the 20-unit hotel. What I've found, like the biggest shift for me, it was all a mindset shift. Rather than thinking of myself as a vacation rental and hotel operator, I had to start becoming a coach and a mentor to my team because it's real, right? It's not uncommon for us to have 40 to 50 check-ins on a Friday afternoon and 40 to 50 checkouts on a Sunday morning or Monday morning. Managing cleaners, having systems that your team can run for handymen, for maintenance related issues, even the claims, we have 10 to 20 new claims being submitted with Airbnb, Vrbo, or Safely every Monday morning, and having systems for that is really important. So you really start to elevate into that CEO role when you start to get over, honestly, even just a few properties. Building a team is the most important thing that you could do.
And you really have to, right? Like I think it's close to impossible, I think, to go past maybe even just a handful of properties without the team in place. Like I know for me, I have a different business, right? And you have other businesses as well. And
Yeah.
I'm not the best at doing the profit and loss statements or dealing with our customer communication on our 70 unit storage facility, right? So I needed to bring people in because even after just a couple acquisitions, like I was done. I was like, this is
Yeah.
not fun. It has like a honeymoon phase at first, like your first short-term rental. It's all cool, but you really need to scale pretty quickly, which I always found interesting that you did. And a lot of people in the industry always look to you as like the kind of like the leverage king of like you brought
Right.
on talent before you could even really afford it in the business, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. What we did, honestly, is we took a lot of money out of my retirement account and we used that to build a team. And then it
Mm.
was just on me to bring in the clients to support that team financially and eventually support myself. And again, the biggest mindset shift came for me when I started thinking about how, like, as a coach for a sports team, they're never stepping on the field. They're not catching a touchdown or throwing a pass or putting on skates or whatever. Every result they're seeing through their team. And your ability to stay, I think, emotionally intelligent through challenges, as well as be able to give really good guidance to your team when they need it, and also teaching them to think for themselves is super, super important. And at the end of the day, the people that benefit are your vendors, your team, your guests, all those types of people, or your clients, right? If it's a storage facility, if for you, I know you do a lot of different development projects and you have subcontractors working under you, having systems to accommodate that, because there's nothing worse as being the owner of a business in the context of short-term rentals. There's nothing worse than if you have a situation where one cleaner gets in a car accident. Happens all the time up in Maine in the winter, right? One cleaner gets in a car accident, can't clean the house. What do you do when you have a check-in that same day? At the same time, the bed frame at another house in another market is broken. It's the master bedroom bed frame, and somehow that needs to get fixed or replaced before the next guest comes in. And you have a hot tub that's not heating up. All of these things take mental effort and energy, and short-term rentals is such a hands-on type of industry, like a personal touch type of industry. And it really puts to the test how well suited you are as a CEO of your own business, even if your business is you owning a few different short-term rentals.
Yeah, it's a really interesting perspective of like a lot of it just comes down to the mindset. It's less about the money, it's less about what you own, mindset. And I think that your
Yeah,
investment early on has probably paid dividends in your growth and probably made it a whole heck of a lot easier and more profitable as you kind of scaled, right?
totally. And I think, I'm sure you can relate to this, it's important to learn what obsessions you can have that your business benefits from. So, for example, in our management business, I have three obsessions. It's the owner's experience of working with us. So, it's like my notebook here coming out of this summer. I have a laundry list of ideas on how to continue to enhance the client experience, really. Um, I'm obsessed with the team's experience. On the next page, I have a laundry list of ideas on how to enhance the team's experience of working with us for the five-star co-host or for Launchpad Consulting. And then at the end of the day, for my business specifically, it's the guests and how to continue to enhance the guest experience of being at the home so we can bring the consistency of a Hilton or Marriott to the five-star co-host portfolio. And when you can be a visionary and sit on top of those different obsessions and then see the results of your goals within those within those verticals through the team, you have an amazing business. And it's also interesting, I will say, there's a story that people tell themselves around how you have to like grind to get to a certain point in your business so then you can hire help. And the advice I'd give to people is that's just a story that you're telling yourself. That's all that is. Because there's also a world where you don't have to grind and you can have balance in your life. And I realized that those were just choices on how I want to live my life as we were growing and scaling. So it's been interesting. And it's also been really fulfilling cracking these little codes and these little puzzles along the way as we've built the business.
Yeah, and I think coming up with a roadmap, like the last thing I'll kind of say is to hit anything, you've got to have the roadmap and you have to see the objectives in the way. And I have a portfolio goal to this day. It started smaller and it's scaled over time, but it's quite motivating. And I kind of have to gamify a little bit of like, here's what I need to do X, and then you need to put the reps in. So like part of my plan was, until I found this acquisition under contract, was I spent 30 minutes every single day underwriting deals and looking for deals, right? So it's like, if you don't have any purpose or plan, you're never going to, you might scale accidentally, but very few people have scaled without purpose and without a plan and a vision. So you need to have that plan in place to be successful, in my opinion, and grow something that's worth owning. So I don't know if you've ever had that with the management company or your acquisitions, but like, I'm very structured in like, if I haven't found a deal, it's this many minutes a day until I find that deal. How many properties do I need to underwrite? How much do I need to save? Things like that.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and for me, being like a visionary by nature, I try and spend a few hours a day thinking about expanding our goals, like going deeper on our goals. What's the importance of them? What are new ideas for how we could accomplish them, and who could do the different tasks needed to see those things through? Will, here's a question for you, because you're about 5-6 years into the business now, and obviously you've moved way beyond the transactional side of the real estate industry, and you have a whole lot of different things happening. What's like one piece of advice, putting you on the spot here, what's one piece of advice you could give yourself going back 5 years ago based on the experience that you have now?
Get hyper focused on 3 things, right? Like for real estate sales, I'll say it's like hyper focus on 3 strategies or 3 lead generation models of just like, everybody wants to try everything. Short-term rental, long-term rental, wholesaling, flipping, like focus and get insanely skilled at 1 to 3 things, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like I could have scaled so much faster. The first couple of years I was distracted trying to literally do everything. The minute I stopped, slowed down, and got obsessed, you use the word obsession, on those couple key elements, that's when my business really 10x'd itself. So if I could go back and be like, hyperfixate on just a few things, become insanely skilled at that, and then scale once that's mastered.
I love that. I love that. Awesome, my man. Well, I think that wraps it up. Scaling beyond 10 properties and some of the hidden nuances that you might not realize in the beginning. I think the general consensus here is invest in team, invest in probably your own self and personal development. I know you and I have both had lots of different coaches along the way and mentors that have helped us get where we are, and we continue to make those types of investments. And I think it's always just important to understand, where do you want to take whatever it is you're doing, right? Because that's going to help you stay focused, and it'll help you stay disciplined when shiny objects present themselves along the way.
100%. This was a great episode. If somebody wants to reach you, Dave, how are they going to do that?
Yeah, just head on to davemenapace.com. You can connect with me there. You can shoot me an email, dave@davemenapace.com, or just find me on Instagram, Dave_Menapace, and we'll connect there. And Will, if someone wants to connect with you, how can they do that?
Hit me up on my website, willvanwickler.com. Book a call with me and we can connect and see how I can help.
I love it. Take care, buddy.
See you next week.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Hassle-Free RE. We hope you found today's tips and stories as inspiring and useful as I did. Remember, success in the short-term rental industry is all about learning, adapting, and staying one step ahead. If you enjoyed the show, please take a moment to leave us a review or comment on your favorite platform. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more listeners like you. Plus, we'd love to hear your thoughts and any topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And follow us at Hassle-Free RE on social media for more tips and updates. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep it hassle-free.